Intel has yet to unveil its next-gen CPU on the desktop, but I am here at a Gigabyte event talking about their new Z790 motherboard refreshes. Not only do they have some cool features coming to these boards, I'm also getting a little bit of information on what those CPUs will hold when they do come out. So you're going to want to hear this. So before we get into some of the details of what makes this Z790 refresh so interesting from Gigabyte, let's talk about one of the obvious things. This is Z790. That means, yes, this is an LGA 1700 socket. They had to cover up the little nameplate here because they don't want to reveal too much information, but this is for next-gen Intel CPUs. But that means that we're going to get 3 generations of Intel CPUs in the same socket. That is kind of big news, and some people can take this as a good thing, some people might take this as a bad thing. So on the plus side, if you got in on 12th gen, that means you even have more upgrade options available to you for future drop-in-place upgrades for the CPU, so that's something usually AMD people get to benefit from. This is just a little extension for the Intel folks out there, but at the same time, some people will take this as a negative, saying that, hey, you know what? Intel is just refreshing the same old thing for the past couple of years, so it's not really much of an upgrade. So you can slice it one way or the other, or make up your own mind on what that kind of means from it. But either way, this means that Z790 will be here for the next gen CPU launch. Gigabyte won't confirm if that means 14th gen, but for the most part, I think that probably means 14th gen. Now that also means that Z890 is not coming till late next year. So whatever holds the next gen Intel CPU is probably going to be Z890. So with this Z790 refresh, Gigabyte has some high-level features that they're going to bring to their entire motherboard lineup. Now I don't have the exact pricing or the date of availability on these, but I just want to kind of go over the high-level things that they're introducing. So first off is faster overclocking capabilities. I'm going to actually stop and pause that and touch on it a little bit later, so we'll come back to that one. Next up, they're talking about Wi-Fi 7 capabilities. Now, sure, not everyone has the ability to do Wi-Fi 7, but I'm excited about Wi-Fi 7, and I would love to have a motherboard that has that support, so that's pretty cool. Next up is a new and redesigned BIOS. Now, I actually haven't seen the BIOS here, so I can't speak to it, but they're saying they heard the feedback, they understand they need to make it more reliable and easier to use, especially for newbies. So hopefully they can kind of come through on that. But one of the last things they want to touch on is these new features that kind of help PC builders. So why don't you come in here? They call these the Easy Latch systems. So the Easy Latch system comes in 3 different flavors. The first one is this heat shield for the M.2 slots. It's a little spring-mounted mechanism that you hold up, and then you pull this off. So this is actually built into the motherboard. If we look around the back, you can see that it's actually soldered in, so you don't have the ability to take it out if you want to use a different solution, but it is spring-loaded and it does feel very durable. So not only the plate, but also the M.2 slots. Each M.2 slot also comes with their own Easy Latch system. You can see it pretty much on all the slots here. And even the top slot is going to have it as well. They're also showing off on certain models the PCIe UD Slot X. So I'm going to assume the UD stands for ultra durable, which Gigabyte has used that branding in the past. So this is a zinc alloy. What is that? Like a bracket. It's called their ultra durable armor. And not only is it metal, it's also screwed into a zinc alloy plate here in the back. You release it with these 4 screws, and that's how you can actually get that bracket off. This thing, we actually took this thing off and kind of hit it against the table. This thing is strong. And then they also have some extra rubber inside the slot itself to hopefully minimize any wear and tear of the actual GPU getting inserted and taken out. So super cool features, and this should help PC builders in their journey of putting together a nice system. There's also 3 different levels of M.2 heat sinks. This one is the L, they have the XL, and then they have the Extreme, which is going to be on the high-end boards, and that thing is a chonky piece of metal. So the last thing to talk about here is something I alluded to earlier, and that is the DRAM overclocking capabilities. Now, with this Z790 refresh and next-gen CPUs, Gigabyte is saying that they're going to be able to hit up to, and maybe even exceed, 8266 megatransfers per second. That's pretty damn fast, and hopefully it's stable, but Gigabyte is very proud of the work that they've done to allow such high speeds. Now, they're saying not just the upgraded memory controller in the next-gen CPU is going to allow for this, they're saying the changes in design to the PCB itself is going to allow for that higher speed, but also a new technology that they're calling back drilling. You can actually see it kind of on the back of the board. It's these little holes perforated underneath the layout of the RAM. Now, I talked to Gigabyte representatives, and they once again feel very certain that they're going to be able to hit these speeds. Not only that, they believe that these are going to be the highest speeds out there, especially at launch. So if you're going to want to get your RAM overclocking on, it sounds like you're probably going to want to look at Gigabyte boards. So once again, even though Intel has yet to officially announce whatever next-gen CPU is coming up, from this Z790 refresh event, we were able to get some really good information and hopefully kind of a look to what comes in the future. But be sure to be subscribed here on PC World once those CPUs do get launched, so you can get all the information and reviews and features that we're going to be doing on the channel. So until next time, we will see you later. You know, I haven't pulled this thing out yet. Look at that, I have this kind of motion. Whoa, don't go too far. Okay.